Alright, what is going on, guys? My name is Leon Master. Welcome back to another Overwatch League video. And today, guys, we're bringing another top 10. We're getting these top 10s out. And I had an interesting one I wanted to talk about. Is the top 10 rookies coming into Overwatch League Season 4. I've never seen someone actually talk about this before, because I definitely think this is a video to talk about with rookies coming up into the Overwatch League. There's a lot of decent and just really good rookies coming into next season, and I decided to make a top 10 about it. Basically, like top 10 rookies you need to keep your eye on coming into next season. And on Twitter and also the YouTube community page, I asked you guys, what is your top 10 rookies coming into Overwatch League? And may I say, we all had very different lists, which is honestly fantastic to see. So that's basically saying, before we go into this is all everyone's opinion. This is my top 10 coming into next season. You can rank this, if you want to, just for a full ranking if you want to. But this is a fun thing, kind of like all my top 10s. They are all fun to talk about and making a conversation. You guys yourself can also make a top 10 down below. My community thing's still up there if you guys want to go do that. And let's jump right into it. Starting at number 10, and it sucks to put this guy this low, but there's a reason for it. And number 10 is going to be Naga on the Paris Eternal. And the reason he's this low is because Paris Eternal, next to the Vancouver Titans, will most likely be one of the worst teams in the league, and that's going to most likely hold him back a little bit. There's only one head coach right now, rumored to have J-Mac, which is great, but I think Paris Eternal will be, unfortunately, at the lower end. I do think they have potential, though, but Naga, being on a bad team, you can most likely not show all your good performances. We've seen that a lot. I say limited resources, honestly, is probably the perfect word for it. He only has a limited amount to work with when it comes to him on the Paris Eternal, but I do think he will still show fantastic performances on the flex DPS role, and I think Naga's still a DPS we need to watch coming into the next season. There definitely is a lot of high hopes for Naga because he just has great performances through Contenders and World Cup. I think he's still someone you need to keep an eye on. I do think, though, since he is on the Paris Eternal, it is going to ruin some things for him, because we won't see those top plays all the time, almost every game, unfortunately, because he is on the Paris Eternal. Now on to number 9, we have Guangbong on the NYXL. I think Guangbong is someone we need to be talking about. I check almost everywhere. I don't see really anyone talking about Guangbong except for obviously the NYXL fans, because I think Guangbong showed fantastic performances in Contenders on hit scan play, especially Ashe is a hero I really remember the most from Guangbong, but he can play almost every hit scan in the game, and Guangbong's gonna be a massive part of NYXL coming into next season, with Ivy most likely going to be beside him as well as his DPS duo. I think Guangbong is going to make an instant name for himself when the first NYXL game comes up with Guangbong, with Ivy, and just that team in general. I think Guangbong is going to do a lot. I definitely think he'll be up there with some of the top hit scan players coming into the league. Unfortunately, Ants is retired, but I think Guangbong can almost, maybe, not saying definite, almost probably be near his level somewhat, being that unknown player and coming through and being one of the best hit scans in the league. Ants was very unknown almost when he got signed to the Shock, but we knew he played before. He was insane. He retired. Then he came to the Shock, being unknown, one of the best hit scan, if not the best, in Season 3, and unfortunately he did retire, and I have not made a video about that yet, but I will at some point. But now we have Guangbong, and I think Guangbong is going to have almost the exact same story, somewhat like Ants, being this unknown player, and then just coming in and being an insanely good hit scan player coming in for the NYXL. And now on to number 8. I have not seen this player that much in a lot of people's lists that I've seen on my YouTube community page and also Twitter. I have Kaneki on my list for being a rookie coming in the next season, and the reason I say this is also because of the Shanghai Masters tournament. I think Kaneki showed insane performances and impressed a lot of people when he played on the Chengdu Hunters for the Shanghai Masters tournament. I was insanely impressed by Kaneki watching that. I've also watched some old VODs, and he is insanely good. No one's talking about him. He has potential, if not he already is better than Jinmu, which is crazy because I always thought Jinmu was a 100% player that needed to play on the Chengdu Hunters. He was someone you never want to replace. There was no one better than him, it almost felt like, but no, I think Kaneki can bring better performances than Jinmu. Heroes I've mainly seen from Kaneki so far is obviously the ones in the meta, like Genji, Mei. Those are the main ones I've seen, but also I've heard a lot of other good things of Kaneki. With other heroes, I am so hyped to see how Kaneki comes in with the Chengdu Hunters. Probably going to change this team a lot also, with Gaga coming in as well for the Chengdu Hunters. I'm excited to see Kaneki comes into Chengdu Hunters, and most likely going to have a rotation of Jinmu, if anything, and Pacific Heroes for certain maps with Kaneki and Jinmu. I think this is going to be a big signing for the Chengdu Hunters. Now on to number 7, I have Nice joining the Toronto Defiant, and I understand also a lot of people are kind of questioning the signing, which I 100% understand that, but I do think Nice still brings a lot to Toronto Defiant that a lot of people aren't really seeing unless you're a Toronto Defiant fan. Nice can play a wide pool of heroes in Overwatch. You know, he can play some hit scan, he can play some projectile heroes. He is a insane flex DPS player, and he normally plays the heroes that end up becoming meta. So obviously, for one big thing I'll always throw out there is Nice can play a Tracer, which is something that is needed for Toronto Defiant. You know, they have basically a starting 6 Korean lineup with also Logic and Beast on the bench. Logic is the other hit scan player. I do think we may see some playtime of Logic, but not a lot, you know, of Nice being there. I think Nice is going to bring a lot when it comes to double hit scan metas, when it comes to having a Genji. He plays those heroes that are important coming into every meta, and especially if hero pools being a thing, this is the perfect time for Nice to come into the Overwatch League, playing beside Hisu, and just being on this team that he is on. He plays a wide variety of heroes in Overwatch, and I'm excited to see how Nice plays. He also can play a Zarya, and his Zarya is good. And whenever we need a Zarya to be played, Nice can do it, and I'm excited to see what Nice does on Toronto Defiant, and we just need to wait and see if he performs that good, because, you know, he definitely deserves a spot in the Overwatch League, playing on Fusion Uni, playing on T1, and just entire history of contenders. He deserves a spot. Now on to number 6, it is Aztec joining the Toronto Defiant. Yes, another Toronto Defiant signing I am talking about. I think Aztec is going to be a fun one to watch next season. Aztec has been super hyped up these past couple of, almost feels like 2 years, I think, with him being in contenders, being that next top flex sport coming into the Overwatch League. Probably going to be top 10 for sure, I feel like. He's that one of those bloodthirsty Zens, honest. One of those. He's very aggressive, and in general, he fits the Toronto Defiant team. Also, if Onsunjay on top of that, and Aztec is going to bring a lot to the Toronto Defiant, playing on that Zen, playing on that Ana. I think Aztec's going to do a lot for the Toronto Defiant. Not much to talk about, you know, with Aztec right now. He's a support player. He is a bloodthirsty support player as well. Very aggressive, gets lots of kills as well, and he has great positioning as well. That's one thing to talk about. Sometimes he does get caught out by a few players here or there, and contenders what I used to remember. But, you know, with a little bit of coaching, especially with KDG and also what that team's looking out to be, I think Aztec could look insane this next year for the Overwatch League Season 4, and I'm excited to see what happens. Now on the number 5, I really wanted to put this player in here, but unfortunately I had to put him on number 5, maybe even lower if I think about it more, but Shy, you know, Hangzhou Spark signing Shy on number 5, and the reason I say he's low, maybe even lower, is because when they came to the Shanghai Mash tournament, which is probably not a lot to really judge about because it was just very on random, I guess you could say. Not a lot of scrim time they probably had, not a lot of practice. It was just jump in and play. Shy did not really play the best, but he still had great performances as well in the Shanghai Masters. But I think we expected a lot more from Shy, unfortunately. But also, not a lot to really judge from because it was the Shanghai Masters tournament. They probably didn't put a lot of practice in beforehand. That probably goes to every team on top of that, kind of like the LA Valiant tournament. And I think Shy, you know, playing scrims consistently, practicing a lot, especially when it comes near the Overwatch League starting date, I think Shy will be back to form. What we've seen him in contenders, and also especially the World Cup is what we really know him for. I think Shy will still be an insane player coming into next season, and maybe even potentially Rookie of the Year if he plays at those levels even higher. You know, he is going to be in the Overwatch League, coached by Overwatch coaches and around that, and also the team around them. Shy will probably still be a top player coming into next season. Now on the number 4, and you guys probably have not expected this one to be this high, but I think this signing is massive, and on top of that, he's going to bring a lot to the Chengdu Hunters. It is Gaga, like I said earlier, of Kaneki. I think Gaga is one of those players that is honestly going to change a team, and that team is going to be the Chengdu Hunters. You know, Chengdu Hunters has unfortunately been suffering with Ameng playing ball mostly. You know, they tried to get a Ting, didn't really work out well. In general, they have dealt with main tank issues for 2 seasons now. Gaga comes in, playing main tank at the highest level in Chinese contenders, playing all main tanks, even ball, even though I think Ameng's still going to be the ball player for certain maps. Gaga can play Winston well. He can play Orisa well. He can play Reinhardt well. He is the player Chengdu Hunters has been needing, and hopefully Chengdu Hunters uses Gaga, which I think they will, because Gaga is absolutely insane of a player, and he's going to change the Chengdu Hunters by a lot, also beside Kaneki, and I'm excited to see how Gaga comes through on this team. Definitely a player we need to keep our eye on into the next season of the Overwatch League. Now on to number 3. I really wish I could put this player at number 1, but unfortunately there is a lot of things surrounding this. It is Pelican on the Atlanta Reign, and the reason he's not number 1 or even 2 is because Atlanta Reign has not really made any other signings other than Pelican. And the same thing goes with coaches. They have unfortunately kept Sephi so far, you know, at the point of recording this video. There could be more signings, more coaches coming soon, but so far it's just Pelican. And the rest of the team's still the same from last season, basically. You know, you still have Gator, you still have Hawk, you have Iris, you have Masa, and you have Edison and now Pelican coming in. Pelican is a fantastic player, playing through contenders, and also on top of that, the LA Valiant tournament, Pelican was tearing it up. Pelican's still that top player we all expected him coming into the next season of the Overwatch League, and also watching him from contenders. Pelican's going to come through and most likely dominate on this team, but also we're not in the full Overwatch League just yet. That was all, teams having some practice, like an hour of practice, then jumping into that LA Valiant tournament. The same thing goes with almost every team, by the way. A lot of teams did not practice for that, and they just jumped into it. And Atlanta Reign, will we see the same season we did last season? I think we unfortunately will when it comes to Atlanta Reign. Maybe they'll be better, but Atlanta Reign has not made that many changes, so it's going to hurt Pelican a lot. But I still think Pelican will still shine in a way, still show his performances at a super high level with Edison. But who knows, maybe this signing by itself will change Atlanta Reign that we don't know of. They released all those coaches, released a lot of players. Pelican coming in, Pelican could change his team single-handedly, but I don't think that will be the case. Now on to number 2, and you guys probably already know what my number 1 is if you watch my past top 10 video. Number 2 is going to be Mag, and I know we can argue about this for days, or at least have fun with it. Number 1, number 2, we can probably go up and down to this, switch them all the time. But Mag on the Washington Justice, we all know how good Mag is. Everyone is keeping their eye on Mag this next season. He has the popularity from the past years on Runaway. Now he's on the Washington Justice with players like Decay. He is going to have a lot of eyes on him, and that could make him go under pressure and maybe not perform at the highest, but I still think Mag will still perform at a high level. I think Mag is going to definitely be one of the best main tanks coming into next season, and I do think he is a good signing. On top of that, with the Washington Justice, I'm excited to see how this goes with Mag. Nothing much to really say. I say a lot about this. Everyone knows Mag at this point. If you have been seeing this, Mag is just insanely good main tank, plays all the main tanks at a high level. Winston, Orisa, Reinhardt, all of them at the high level. On top of that, with Ball, he can do it. He's going to come into the Washington Justice looking to be a good team. Beside Fury on top of that, Fury's going to make Mag look even better, compared maybe to his Runaway days, being insanely aggressive. Mag has a lot of potential this next season. Hopefully he does come through with those performances, and I think he will. And before we go on to number 1, I do got to say some honorable mentions, and a lot of people had this player in their list, and I 100% understand why he was in this list, but my reasoning for my honorable mentions is Liga. And the reason I have Liga in the honorable mentions is because, unfortunately, I do not think he'll get playtime as much. Hangzhou Spark has a 12-man roster. They have Bernard, and on paper and just in general, Bernard and Guzhwei is probably going to be their best tank duo coming into the next season. We even saw that on the Shanghai Masters tournament when it came to the tournament with Bernard and Guzhwei. That was the tank duo majority of the time. And I even said this when Bernard got signed, or Liga, forgot the order, but I definitely said Bernard and Guzhwei was going to be the tank duo coming into the next season. That looks like that's going to be the case, and I think that will be the case throughout the entire season. I don't think we'll see Liga really play at all for the Spark, unfortunately, but if he does play, I think Liga is going to be insane. I really would have loved seeing Liga on the Chengdu Hunters instead, playing beside Gaga. I think that would be just an insane tank duo coming into the Overwatch League. But unfortunately, since Liga probably won't be getting a lot of playtime, he is going to be my honorable mentions though, just in case if he does get some playtime. Now into my number 1. Y'all already know what it is if you watch my past video. It is Muse for the LA Gladiators. And I know we could switch 1 and 2 all day long. I could think Mag's number 1 at some points. I can think Muse is number 1 at some point. Switch them around. I even thought about that making this list. I kept switching them around, and I decided to keep Muse on my number 1 spot because of the confidence I see of LA Gladiators, what they're so confident with. Also from the LA Valiant tournament in a little bit, Muse was just insane. Like I said already when he first got signed, he fits this team perfectly. Some people have their eyes on already how aggressive he is. He plays all the main tanks at a high level, and he's just someone we need to talk about a lot. I'm seeing a lot of eyes on Mag. I think we need to see a lot more eyes on Muse, honestly. Muse is going to be a top player. Maybe he'll get Rookie of the Year. I honestly don't know who will get Rookie of the Year. It's definitely someone from the top 3, Mag, Pelican, or Muse, coming into that Rookie of the Year potential spot for the end of the year, the Overwatch League. But it all needs to see what happens. We can't really predict the future right now, but I think number 1 spot for me, going to get that Rookie of the Year, very early prediction, is going to be Muse, or at least near the conversation for it. I think Muse is going to bring a lot for the LA Gladiators, and just in general, if you see interviews with the LA Gladiators, especially with Moth recently on the Dustin Bowerman show, Moth is insanely confident, and I think majority of that has to come with Muse beside the team. We have not seen a insane main tank in a while for the LA Gladiators since Fisher They've had a lot of main tank problems. They now have Fuse. He is insanely consistent, insanely aggressive. That really fits his team. I think Muse is going to change a lot for the LA Gladiators in the future. Anyways, guys, that was it for my top 10 list. I want to know what your top 10 list is down below. Let's have fun with it. This is all a fun video to talk about. Top 10 rookies coming into next season. What is your top 10 rookies that we need to keep an eye out for next season as well? That's going to be for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to stay more in tune with Overwatch League news and Overwatch League stuff in general, don't forget to subscribe down below. Also, don't forget to join my Discord down below as well. And don't forget to follow my Twitter and my Twitch. And don't forget to hit that bell. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.